What's up, MD? It's Ron Harris. I'm here with Artie Guidera and Julia, who you know from the last couple of videos. I am 2 weeks out today from the Universe. Artie's doing the Hartford Europa in 1 week. That is 4 weeks out from Masters Nationals, which I'm also doing. I have a sneaking suspicion Artie's probably going to jump into that show too. Don't be shocked. People think we're the same person. We're actually two different people, as you can see. It's not a split screen. And we do a little bit of legs. Matt looks very energetic today.
I'm quite energetic.
He's ready to squat 600 for 20 reps, which I'm sure is what you guys all want to see. So let's head inside and see what we got.
This is my second to last leg workout for Team Universe. I'm going to do one probably this coming Friday, which will be 8 days out from the show. I certainly wouldn't do legs any closer to a contest than that, because the waste products and everything builds up in the legs and blurs out the deep cuts, the crispness that you want to show on stage.
They may not have to watch it. I mean, just do that like that. Just like, you know? Yeah. I think next time I
got the idea of the points and one visionary. Yeah, he's worth like $50 billion.
I don't do a whole lot for quads most of the time, just because they're a very strong body part. I don't want them getting really any bigger than they are at this point, because it would throw off my proportions. You know, my upper body's not the most massive, but I still train them hard. Typically, a lot of times, the only things I'll do for quads are a few sets of leg extensions, a few sets of squats, and maybe walking lunges or leg press, one or the other. Also, most of the time, pretty much 99% of the time, I train my hamstrings first. Because like I said, my quads were always a strong point from the time I started training them. And I didn't start training my legs until I'd already been doing upper body for a couple of years. But once I started training my legs, my quads just blew up. They responded very well. At a certain point, I noticed my hamstrings were definitely way behind. So what I did was I started training hamstrings first on leg day, and I've always done them both together, quads and hams. And that really did make a big difference. So typically what I'll do is stiff leg deadlifts first, then a lying leg curl, a seated leg curl, then I'll go into quads.
You start recording now. I don't know how many more of these guys. Got my new Cardillo powerlifting belt on. Now if you can read it, it's very hard to read what it says. It says Ron Harris Muscle on the top, but the font is incredibly difficult to read. That's good. It gives something to talk about. Nobody else
So we began with leg extensions. Leg extensions are a really good warm-up. I used to go really heavy on leg extensions, like pinning plates on the stack, and eventually I did get some knee pain from that, because it's a single joint movement. It's really not meant to be going super heavy on. Just not safe for your knees to be putting 300 pounds or more on a leg extension. And even when your form's good, it's your quads are meant to be trained heavy with compound movements, not single joint movements like a leg extension. Instead of squatting, because we're all really close to shows right now, I'll still squat probably my next leg workout, but today we're all together. It just made more sense to do a machine where everything's balanced, you go heavy. We settled on this hack squat machine. I had never seen this particular model, or at least I might have glanced at it somewhere at some point in time. I've certainly never used it. It's smooth. It's a different type of hack squat than what I'm accustomed to. The ones I've used, typically you're standing a little more upright. This is very low to the ground at an angle. Smooth machine. I went all the way up to 6 plates, which was pretty heavy for me on this. You know, I was testing out to see how heavy I could go on it. 7 reps, probably not the optimal rep range you want to be doing for legs, but that's what I ended up doing. And over the years I've done a lot of that. I mean, my reps go all over the place. People say, what's your rep range for legs? Well, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 to 20, 50. I've even done, you know, drop sets on the leg press where it ended up being 100 reps or more. I think the legs respond well to a lot of different rep ranges. I don't think it's optimal to stick to any one particular rep range all the time. But on this hack squat, I probably did go a little too heavy. Just to challenge myself, but there really was no need to go that heavy. I'm recording this audio commentary the next day, and my lower back is definitely tight, so I'm going to need a deep tissue massage tomorrow.
Enough of those for me.
From there we moved on to a horizontal leg press. You might have seen this one when Jose did his leg training video, the last leg training video before we thought was the Toronto Pro. He ended up doing the New York Pro a couple days later. It's definitely different from just about any leg press I've ever seen. It's on lever. You can see it's really different from your typical angled leg press that moves up and down a track. But it had a nice smooth feel to it. Did like 3 sets, 15 reps. Just really going for a nice little burn and pump in the legs, keep them big and full. And we finished off quads. We were talking about doing lunges. I like this gym a lot. It's got a lot of unique leg equipment, but what it doesn't have is a lot of open space where you could do walking lunges. I prefer doing walking lunges. It's just my personal preference.
Lunges walking, so I'm checking out what he does. Oh boy, I don't know about this. What is going on? A little kick. So this is how I'm going to do them.
That's healthy knees, baby.
Leave the foot there. It's kicking friggin' the knees back and forth. It's for the birds. It's like an aerobics class. I don't know what you're trying to prove with that.
When I do them in my gym, there's a certain space, a lane that goes up and down, dividing the weight area from the cardio area, and that's where I typically do my walking lunges. And I like to do them with a barbell on my back. But in this case, we did them on a Smith machine, and I don't even know if I want to call these lunges. To me, this is like a one-leg squat on the Smith machine. To me, a lunge is a different movement. I don't like doing lunges in place. I do them in place with dumbbells sometimes, once in a great while, but I really prefer to walk. I just think that's the natural way to do them.
Why are we doing lunges at this point in the workout, Matt?
Well, for whatever reason, everybody has different favorite exercises. When I do lunges, I feel nothing but butt and outside quads. And it's a good transition for me into hamstring exercises anyway. So on the days that I do hamstrings after, I almost always finish with a lunge. But we usually start with hamstrings. Today we kind of did it backwards because I like to mix things up. And if we start with hamstrings, sometimes we'll lunge at the end of hamstrings in the beginning of quads. But either way, I kind of feel like it's more, almost like a hamstring glute, even more so than a quad. And Ron just went to 2 plates, which was just insane.
Well, you saw I got 8 reps with one leg and 6 with the other, so probably not the optimal rep range for lunges.
It's still just insane. So we go light. The most I think I've ever done is a plate and a quarter for like 8.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty fried too. You know, we've done, this is work set number 12 with quads for us, so plus a whole bunch of warm-ups.
Whenever I go to a gym that has different equipment that my gym doesn't have, I always try to take advantage of it. So this gym they have actually 2 different single leg curls. There's a plate loading one and there's one with selector stack. We use the one that you load plates on. And you can focus on one hamstring at a time. It's a different angle, you're leaning forward. You can really focus on squeezing the contraction at the top. The only thing was, it was the first time I used it, so I didn't know how heavy to go. 1 plate was really easy. I went to 2 plates and that turned out to be too hard. And when you got 3 people training together, it's already taking a long time, so really didn't have time to find the optimal weight. Probably a 45 and a 25 on each side would have been perfect for a couple good work sets, but it's not that critical at this point. Okay, from there we moved to a seated leg curl. Seated leg curls I like a lot because you can focus on the contraction point so much better. You don't get a really full stretch, so when I do these, it's usually in conjunction with, I'll do before or after the lying leg curl, because that gets the stretch component of the range of motion a little bit better. But seated leg curl, we did 3 sets each here. Okay, we finished up. You know, normally, like I said, I do hamstrings first, and I do stiff leg deadlifts first. At this point in the workout, there was no way I was going to be doing stiff leg deadlifts. It would have been really, really light, like ridiculously light. So we just did a glute ham raise here. You can do these, or you can do the hyperextension bench. And I know a lot of people are looking at it and think, well, it looks like you're working your lower back. You know, you can make this machine or this apparatus work either your lower back or your glutes and hams, depending on how you position your body and what you make do the work. And it's really hard to explain because, you know, when you're looking at it, they would probably both look very, very similar to the observer, whether if you're doing them for your lower back or your glutes and hams. But it's a critical difference in the way I feel it. I like to dig in my heels and really make the glutes and hams contract as I'm coming up on each rep. And at this point, we had been training for about 2 hours, and I was really hungry. We still had posing practice to do because, you know, I don't want to skimp on that. I practice my posing at home too, but it's good to get all the guys together and make it more like an actual judging. So we ran through the pre-judging round with the quarter turns and the poses, and that was a wrap.